Hello everyone, and welcome to my new tutorial. In this video, today we will make a poster or a banner, or an advertisement for some sports equipment or a sports activity. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is import the image into the document by clicking the File drop-down menu, then the Import command, select the image, and click the Import button. Just to note that the link to download the image will be in the description of the video, as well as the list of tools we will use. When I clicked on the Import button, an option to import the image into the document will appear and I just need to click anywhere on the working area. Since this image is too big for me, using these control points or squares, I will proportionally reduce it. The next thing we're going to do is type the word run. I'll do this by clicking on the text tool, then clicking anywhere on the working area and type the word run. I'm going to enlarge this text and choose a more massive font by clicking here and choosing the Abrade Black font. Abrade Black does not have an italic variant, so while the text is selected, I will click on it once more, so that the option for rotating or skewing the object will appear. I will drag to the right, just enough to follow the posture of this girl, that is, the picture we imported into the document. I'm going to go back to the scaling options and make this text a little bigger, let's say like this. What I want is for the right leg to go over the letter U and N, and the left leg to go behind the letter U. The space between the letters is too big, so I'll use the Shape tool to enable the letter spacing option. I click in the lower right corner and drag to the left. To better see what's actually going on here, I'm going to choose an orange fill color. I'll left-click on the color palette, and I'll right-click on this blue color to see the outline, that is, where the overlaps are between. The overlap between the letter R and the letter U is greater, and the overlap between the letter U and the letter N is less. To set it up better, I'll select the break option from the Object drop-down menu. Once I've done that, I can drag the letter N a little further to the left to create a larger overlap. Let's say this is perfectly fine, and what I'm going to do now is manipulate the image. Press plus on the keyboard to duplicate it. Hold Ctrl and drag this image to the side. I'll need this image for later. Select this photo again and press plus on the keyboard. Then press Shift and Page up to put the image in front of the letter. I will choose the Freehand tool. I'm going to zoom in a bit and make a crop of this image, that is, I'm going to split it into two parts. Let's say I click here, drag here and click to draw a straight line. I continue drawing lines by clicking on a node, then clicking on a node again. I drag, and continue with the same method, wanting to enclose the left leg with a new closed object. I will select the Shape tool. Then I click anywhere on this line between this node and I get a black dot. I choose the Convert to Curve option. I click again on the line and drag to follow the shape I want to cut. When I'm satisfied with that, I hold Shift and click on this image while my drawn object is selected. In the property bar, Boolean options appeared. Since I have both objects selected, I will choose the Simplify option. What followed was that we cut out part of the image, that is, we separated the body in the right leg, which you can see when I move the image. I'll click undo to move it back to its position. While I have this image selected, I will click on it with the right mouse button and select the hide option. With that, we hid the image that we cut out so that it wouldn't interfere with the future work, and then I select the drawn object again. Hold Shift and click on the previously duplicated image. In the property bar, I select the intersect option, in order to extract the left leg. We don't need the drawn object anymore, and I'll delete it by pressing delete on the keyboard. I click on the top part of the image and then remove it as well. I only got this left leg, which is behind the letter U, where it should be. However, where is the first part of the picture now? I'm going to go to Docker Objects, which I can select from the drop-down menu window. Dockers, Objects. I find Layer 1 and then select the image we hid. We will see that the eye icon has been crossed out, so when I click on it, the previously hidden image will appear. What we see now is that the right leg is over the letter U and the letter N, and the left leg is behind the letter U. I will select only the letters, making sure that in the selected selection I only have the letters R, U and N, and not the left leg. I'll select No Fill by right-clicking to remove the outline. I will close Docker Objects. By double-clicking the rectangle tool, I'll draw a rectangle that follows the boundaries of our desktop. I will choose some dark purple color. By double-clicking on the Fill option, a new window will open, where I can darken the background color a little more. I click on Color Viewers and drag this square into a darker spectrum. I'm going to move this image that I don't need yet, and then we'll edit all of this further. I select the letter N, I select the Shadow tool. I click somewhere from the middle of the letter N, hold Ctrl and drag to the left to get a shadow. I can paint the shadow the same color as the background. Click here, select the color eyedropper, and then click Background Color. I'll choose the normal option and increase the shadow effect a bit. I will do the same with the letter U. Regardless of the fact that the shadow tool is still active, I can select the letter U. Click somewhere in the middle of the letter, drag to the left, move the shadow as much as I need and repeat the process. I choose the background color, I choose normal and I increase that effect a little bit. I will do the same with this part of the picture, all in order to get some depth of the composition itself. Click on the top part of the image, about here, and drag down. Let's make it, like this, and we'll see that the shadow is distributed in this lower part. I'm going to select the color eyedropper tool as before, I'm going to select normal and increase that effect. That looks a little better already. Select the letter R and press plus on the keyboard to duplicate it. I'm going to move it up there and reduce the size, and then type some tagline. It needs to be reduced further. I will select the white color of the letters, and then use the Shape tool to make a little more space between the letters. Click in the lower right corner and drag a little bit, and I think this is just fine. I want my rows of letters to be distributed following an imaginary line around the right hand, so I'll choose Break in the Object drop-down menu. I will highlight each line separately. We're going to shrink this down a bit to follow some of the width of the letter R. We can lower it further until we are satisfied with the arrangement of these words. The image I selected will be used for an additional motion effect, so I will use the motion blur option. While the image is selected, I choose the command blur and then motion blur from the effects drop-down menu. We can adjust the strength of the effect while the direction remains at 0, so that the motion blur effect goes left-right, not up and down. When I'm happy with that, I hold Ctrl and drag to roughly the middle of the composition. I'll select the Transparency tool, click here, hold Ctrl and drag to the left, but not too far, but to some limit of the image itself. Then I'll drag the image a little more to the left, something like this. What I can see is the image appearing over my left leg. In order to select the image with the motion blur effect, which is behind this upper part of the original photo, I will go to the View drop-down menu and select the Wireframe option to make it easier to see, that is, to make it easier to select. In the wireframe, we see a line representation of all the objects in the document. That picture is actually this one. I will go back to Enhance mode. I press Shift Page down, and therefore it has spread even behind our background. I select the background and then apply the same command. Shift Page down. And as we can see the image with the motion blur effect, it is below our composition. To add a little more depth to the whole composition, I will draw a shadow. If we consider that the light is coming from here, the shadow should go to the lower left. I'll do that by drawing a small ellipse like this. I will paint it in dark purple, i.e. in the color of the background. I press plus on the keyboard to duplicate it. Hold Ctrl, drag down. To stretch it, I hold Shift and drag the mouse to one side with the left mouse click. I choose the first, smaller ellipse and by double-clicking on the Fill option, darken the color vires a little more. Let's put it this way. I click OK. I select the Blend tool, click on the small ellipse, drag it into this larger ellipse and then set the number of steps to about 80 or even better 150. I'm going to select the lower ellipse and drag it to the left. I select all the new objects that we have drawn and then place them under the left foot along the very edge of the sneaker, and if I think that it is too simple, I can additionally enlarge all these objects a little more and adjust them additionally. Our poster, that is, the banner, is ready. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. For more tutorials, hit the subscribe button. Like, share and comment. Greetings and see you in the next video.